Welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Ginete-Ilon. Today we'll talk to a Gen Z who's living her best life. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. My guest today is Keira Luong. Keira is from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and came to Canada in 2015 as an international student. And fast forward 8 years, she is now a proud Canadian citizen. Keira is currently a web developer working at a news media company. In her free time, she loves going on walks with her favorite podcasts, learning everything from personal development to self-care practices, mindfulness, and intentional living. Great things to learn for a Gen Z. Welcome to Life Expressions, Keira.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the great introduction too.
Of course. And Keira, tell me, why did you decide to go to Canada to study?
That's an interesting question. Studying abroad has always been something that I know that I would do. When I'm back in the middle school, it's just something that me and my family talked about. I love to go around, love to travel, and go outside of my comfort zone to be on my own, to be independent, and so we decided to do that right after I graduated from high school. And actually, Canada was not my first choice. At that time, I was very passionate about boy bands in UK that I just want to follow, going to London to follow my fangirl dream. But then Canada came up as an option, and I'm like, that's actually not good. And like you said, fast forward 8 years, I haven't regretted my choice, and I'm really glad that I made the decision to come to Canada, and life has been great here.
Yeah, that's great. And I heard that you were also a scholar. You got a scholarship from a university or a college here in Canada.
Yeah, I did. So I attended an American school which had a location here in Vancouver, BC, and I got, I believe it was around 65% scholarship at that time, and that was actually one of the biggest factor why I decided to come to Canada. Because scholarship is definitely a great financial help for
Yeah.
me and my family.
And you came here all by yourself. Tell me about your experience in coming all by yourself here in Vancouver.
It was definitely not easy, but at the same time, it's not too hard. It like I said, I love to, going outside of my comfort zone, going to travel. So when I came here, lucky for me is that me and my family and also the agency that we worked with already arranged a homestay for me. So I have someone to, have somewhere to stay. I already have accommodations figured out. So stay with the family. And I'm grateful for my host family at that time as well. And until today, we still keep in contact. And they were one of the few, one of the first ones to introduce me to the city, to the Canadian culture. They would, take me to Thanksgiving dinners, and we celebrate Christmas together and do some Christmas bakings, all of that. And I'm just really grateful for them to have them to help me slowly integrate into the Canadian culture. And aside from that, everything else on my own, going to school, balancing between school and work, looking for my first part-time job is all, little challenges that I have to overcome by myself. But it's just those obstacles that help build me into the person I am today. And I'm always grateful for the experience.
Yes. So what is the best and most memorable experience in a span of 8 years that you've had so far?
This is probably biased, not biased, but it just happened so recently. So it's at the top of my mind right now. But I recently got my citizenship. So it was just a month ago, and it was really a
Wow.
big achievement. It is definitely like a stamp of approval from the
Congratulations.
country, or yeah, thank you for all of my hard work and resilience, and for keep away pushing even though it's hard. So 8 years been a long time, and just finally have that stamp of approval, have that achievement, have that check mark checked. It's feel really great. I took some time to kind of sit by myself and reflect on the years I've passed, the challenges that I overcame, and just feel really, really proud of myself for the things that I've done, and for the journey I've taken so far.
Yeah. Speaking about the things that you've done so far that you have achieved, of course, number
Mhm.
one is now you're a Canadian citizen. But between those times, what are the achievements that you take pride for yourself and you go back home and to your family, you share with them that, hey, I've done this, I've achieved this? What are those things?
I honestly, off the top of my head, I couldn't think of the biggest achievement you know, that I've achieved so far. But it's on the little wins that I celebrate throughout the
Yeah.
whole journey. Like for example, finishing my first semester, getting all A's, graduated,
Wow.
getting internship and getting my first job and then jumping jobs and all of those little tiny wins that I celebrate along the way is what keep me going on. So it's something that again, like I said, it's an achievement which I can look back and see how far I've come and then give me the motivation and courage to keep going forward.
Yeah, I think that is very important, celebrating the small victories, as you
Mm-hmm.
say, because it is
Totally.
one step at a time for you. And then
Yeah.
now you could finally spread your wings. And of course, you can do that when you enjoy the victories and the little achievements that you experience along the way. And now that you're a Canadian citizen, what's next for you?
Um, so, hmm, honestly, though, even before because I'm Canadian, I already have like big plans ahead of me. And now with this, again, stamp of approval. Now I'm like, freely to make my own decisions and can, move around and do all the things that I wanted to do. So actually in the upcoming years in 2024, I have planned to move to Calgary. But before that, I'll probably take an extended break to be at to visit home with my family. Gonna be there for a couple of months and then just make my big move in spring 2024 to Calgary. That's
Wow.
gonna be a big change for
Wow.
yeah, the big change that I'm gonna make, and it's gonna again be a step out of my comfort zone. But I'm kind of nervous, kind of scared, but also very excited for it.
Why the move? Why are you planning and why have you decided to move to Calgary?
Um, it's I feel like I want to change of scenery. That's one of the biggest thing is I want to change of scenery, and I kind of looking for a challenge as well. I Yeah, it's just something that in the back of my mind, something like around, I think I visited Calgary back in 2017. I think it was first time, and I went back for a few more times. And I like the city. I like the life there. It's not too big of a city, but it's also not too small. So I give it's medium size. I think it's a good place for me to kind of settle down, maybe build a new life and see where I'll get there. Because right now, as much as I love living in Vancouver, I'm also craving for something new, craving for a new challenge. So moving to Calgary might be a good fit for me. But if it's not, it's okay. I can always move back. There's always options. I'm not tied out to a city, but I just want to be there to experience a different environment and maybe reinvent myself a little bit too.
Oh, that's great. Like I have noticed, like in a span of a few minutes, you have mentioned getting out of your comfort zone, wanting to try something new. You always have that feeling. You always want to seek that challenge. Why is that?
Um, it keeps me inspired and motivated, to be honest, new experience. And it doesn't always have to be moving to a new country or moving to a new city. It could be simply maybe visit a new place in the city. I love going on walks as you introduced me earlier. And sometimes I just walk around the quay here in New West or maybe along the street looking at new stores. Sometimes maybe talk to some people that I haven't talked or discover new podcasts. Like I always crave for new experience, and sometimes it's big one, sometimes it's small one. But it's those new experience keeps me going and keep me all inspired and motivated in an everyday life.
Yes. You've mentioned um, you wanted a new scenery. Does that follow that you're also going to have new job? You're also going to explore something new with your career when you move to Calgary?
I think I'm gonna stick to working as a web developer. I love work the work that I'm doing. I love being in this field, but also what I appreciate is that this field itself very broad. I can work in different industry. I can be in banking. Right now I'm in news and media, but I can, looking more into a tech or maybe fintech or banking or any other industry because I feel like there's always a demand for web development and perhaps a little bit marketing as well, because that's also a part of my background. So I believe that the road is open. There's a lot of opportunities and I'm kind of very excited to explore them.
Wow, that's great, Akira. How about the challenges in between? We have talked about your victories, your achievements, and then you getting out of your comfort zone. Aren't you looking forward to new challenges as well? But What are the challenges, the biggest challenges that you have faced over the years?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is now that you tell me, one thing just came to my mind immediately, and it doesn't have much to do with my going outside my comfort zone, but this is actually a kind of vulnerable thing to share. But one of my biggest challenges that I overcame is actually my breakup with my previous boyfriend, which happened, I believe, in 2021. And before that, he has always been like the rock of my life. He's been like our life has also been like entangled, intertwined. Like he was there for all of my achievement up to that time, like getting my first job, graduated, internships, everything. So now without that person, I was scared, right after that. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this on my own. I don't know if how do I gonna go forward without this person in my life anymore. But also that experience itself just it makes me much stronger, and also it builds so much of my confidence, because now looking back I'm like, yes, I was in that position, I was in that low point, but I overcame it, and now I feel so much stronger, I feel so much more capable, and just I have so much more trust in myself anymore, so I don't feel like I have to rely on a person or have another person who can go that path with me. I can be my own person and go on this own path of for myself, with myself.
Wow. Wow. How did you do that? How did you overcome that heartbreak? And how did you get back on your feet after that big breakup?
One thing that I've learned throughout that whole experience is to always, not always, but yeah, always reach out to people. Um, before that, I was actually quite closed up and shy, and I'm like, I don't want to be vulnerable, because actually it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable with other people, because you don't know how they're going to receive it and how they're going to take it, right? So, but throughout that experience, I learned that as long as I'm willing to open up myself, open to, willing to ask for help, there's always be someone there, be there
Yes.
for me, and will be that carry me through these low moments of my life. So I always grateful for those people. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson, is to willing to reach out for help when we need, because we don't have to do this by myself, by on our own. There will be other support system, friends, family, or even coworkers. They were also helping me throughout that time as well. And it's all because I was open enough and be courageous enough to let them know, hey, this is what I'm going through. And they would just so graciously be there for me. And I'm forever grateful for that.
That's great. Yeah. Being vulnerable and open to
Mm-hmm.
other people takes a lot of courage and sincerity for them to open up to you and give you support as well.
Mm-hmm, totally. And yeah,
Yeah.
vulnerability is actually one of the foundations to great relationships. And
Yeah.
once, for example, I opened up and the person was like, oh yeah, I'm actually going through the same thing. And I actually knew how you feel. And then that got us so much closer, and that built up our relationship. And we're just getting so much like closer after that experience.
Yeah, it's good that you have a support system. How about
Mm-hmm.
self-care? You're into self-care practices. What do you do to make sure that you take care of yourself?
So I am an introvert, so I'm very intentional about how I spend my time. As much as I love, going out, going on walks, maybe talking to people, and being involved in more community activity. But I'm also very intentional about protect my own time. So I need, after I go out with people, I need the time to just be with myself. Sometimes I don't even have any music or any podcast on. I just sit there or lie there and think about life, and daydreaming, all of that. Some other time that I decide to journal or meditate, it just, taking the time to look inward after looking outward, to just be with myself and be happy with who I am, to understand my experience, my thought process, and just a lot self discovery. And from the experience, then I get to know myself better. So, when I'm sad and I go, oh, yeah, that is actually what triggered me. That's what made me sad. Now, next time, if something happened, I can do something differently so that I'm not being that position anymore. But
Wow.
also, one thing I do want to mention is it's okay to be sad. Like our feelings are
Yes.
valid. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry about something. The best thing to do is not to submerge it, but to understand it. So see what triggers it so that we can, act differently the next time.
I totally agree with that. Self-awareness is very
Mm-hmm.
important for you to take care of yourself, acknowledge your feelings, and of course, when you understand that feelings, you can move forward. right?
Totally.
Yes, yes. But Keira, even if you're an introvert, you are a very good speaker. You, shall I say, you thrive in Toastmasters. In fact, you're the president of Telecom Toastmasters. Tell me, what triggered you to join Telecom Toastmasters and to step up
Mhm.
as president of the club?
Well, my journey with Toastmaster actually began long time ago. I think believe when I first came to Canada, and it was actually my university had the Toastmaster club, and I attended as a guest, and I was invited to do a table topic, which I bombed. I just did it so bad, and I feel so intimidated by all of the great speakers, and I disappeared from the club for years. And but throughout my experience, I know that, oh yeah, English was not my first language, so I processed information a bit differently than the other people. My communication was not at its best. There's so much thing I could do to improve my speaking skills. So I'm like, maybe Toastmaster is one of the thing I could join and improve myself. But it just, that fear, that experience scarred me for years until I think 2021. I was like, I should do it because I know that it's going to help me, and I know that it's hard. Maybe I will be, I might bump another table topic, I will be embarrassed and whatnot, but I'm just going to do it. Just take that path and go with. So that's what I did. I messaged the club. I'm like, hey, I want to join as a guest. And I saw it, that's what I did. And we went to the club, and the club, oh my God, they were so supportive. They was such a great environment. I wasn't feeling intimidated at all. I actually feel very welcome and encouraged and supported by all of the members, even though I was not a member at that time. And that encouraged me to take that step, to commit it to Toastmasters. I'm like, I'm gonna do this every Monday, so I can be a better version of myself, be a better communicator, and also a better friends, because communication is the core of everything. Now that I can communicate my feeling better, communicate certain topic better, then I can be a better friend, better family members to other people. So that's what it is. And about the decision to be president, it was actually not not my decision to be, so what I say. It just taking one step another, being encouraged by other people. At that time I was being a VP of education, so being that positions, and when the election come up, my fellow executive was very encouraging me, to take this position. I'm like, I don't think I could do that, because again, I joined the club very recently. I don't feel like I have the experience to be a president yet. But they were like, no, you can do it. Like, we've seen so much potential in you. We know you're gonna really great job. I'm like, okay, I mean, if you have so much trust in me, then I should have that trust in myself. Well, so just take that leap of faith. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so far, I think we've been doing a pretty good job. I love how the club is going. I think we're growing. We're going in the right path, and it's working out so far.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that. When I came into Telecom Toastmasters, I have felt the welcoming atmosphere, and I have seen your leadership. Of course, when I joined, I said, "Oh, this is a great club. This is a club where you can thrive personally and professionally." And yes, true enough, your communication skills are being further developed by the group of people that continually support you. And you have mentioned also that yes, you were fearful, but in every step that you take, you intentionally try to overcome that fear and to get out of your comfort zone, to do the things that you know you need to do to become a better
Mhm,
version of yourself.
Yeah,
And so,
sometimes it's about taking, yeah, sorry. So I just
go
want to say
ahead.
that sometimes it's about taking that step, that even though it's so hard, even though it's just every fiber of my every cell of my body saying, no, I don't think you can do it. But just take that leap of faith and believe in the journey, believe in the process. And I believe that we're gonna get there at one point.
Yeah, I think that's the true meaning of courage. Doing the things that you need to do, even if you are afraid of doing it, but because you know that you've got to do it, you just do it. That's great,
Yeah.
Keira. Yeah.
Yes, actually, I that reminds me of a quote that I read, and I cannot I don't remember the exact word, but basically what it says that being courageous doesn't mean that you don't have any fear. It means doing the thing regardless of having fear.
Yes, that is so true. And you are one brave Gen Z who's living her best life right now here in Vancouver and soon going to move to Calgary. That's a different scenery and definitely different weather. Are you ready for
Oh,
that?
um, I don't know. I don't think I would ever be ready for everything, but again, I trust that everything's gonna work out. I'm gonna jump and see where I'm gonna land at, and I trust myself that I have the potential to overcome whatever is, being thrown at me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Kira, if you can talk to your fellow Gen Z who is
Mhm.
trying to live their best life like you, what would you say to that fellow Gen Z?
I have two things to actually. So first is be courageous. Like I said, step out. Will be willing to step out of your comfort zone. And again, being courageous doesn't mean that you don't have any fear. It's just taking that step regardless of fear. And the other thing, also in line with that previous first advice, is to trust the process. It's things gonna be okay, even though it doesn't seem like so at this point. Things, just trust the process and keep following the path. Maybe it will turn out to be okay, even though it might be a bit different from what we expect or something that we have hoped for. But it's gonna be all okay at the end of the day, at the end of the journey. So be courageous, take that path, and believe the journey that you're taking.
It's wonderful. It's about the journey, it's about the process and being courageous enough to take that process, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
Kira, what's next for you? Apart from the fact that you're moving to Calgary, what do you think is awaiting for Kira?
Ooh, a new life in Calgary, probably. Yeah, I'm very excited about moving there, being in environment. I'm especially excited about exploring who I'm gonna be in Calgary. Like I said, a new environment probably bring out a new identity in me. Maybe I'll suddenly become an extrovert, who knows? Or maybe I'll be an outdoor person. I don't know that yet, but I'll get to find out. And I'm
Yes,
excited for that.
that's wonderful. Kira, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your story here with me on Life Expressions.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It
Of
was fun.
course. Looking forward to talking to you more at Silicon Toastmasters.
Yes, totally. I'll see you next week.
Yes, see you next week. Congratulations on being a Canadian citizen. Congratulations on
Yeah,
your decision to move and to further grow and to be the best version of yourself.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so thank you so much for listening to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Chari Ginete-Ilon, and my guest is Keira Luong. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Till next time, here on Life Expressions. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share Life Expressions and post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. Or better yet, visit lifeexpressions.co and click support.